Yo, YouTube, what's good? What's good with you guys, bro? I'm back with another video. Hope you guys are enjoying these new videos, man, and our new podcast. Go check out the podcast, bro, the Unchained podcast with my boy Spirit War Martin. We just dropped an episode 85, you guys. So super fun making those episodes, man. Go check it out. It's called The Power of Discernment. Alright guys, so for this video, what I want to talk about is, some of us might be on SR already, right? We're already on SR, we're living good, right? But there's some people who might be on the fence, with this kind of stuff and what, they're actually dealing with. What's the difference between being on SR and then living that porn lifestyle? Where you're, that Coomer lifestyle, going back to our old self where we used to be busting off all the time, I wanted to talk about what that is like and what the difference between your old self like that and who we are now on SR, I want to talk about who you are when you're living that lifestyle, guys, when you're loading up those websites. We all talk about the benefits that we get on SR, right? We talk about all these cool benefits and stuff, but we don't really talk about, who we are back then. What kind of a person are you when you're busting off like that on a regular basis, loading up the websites, doing that subconscious programming in your mind, watching all these videos and shit, and, potentially getting addicted to porn, you guys, which is a huge problem in today's society. So I'm gonna break this down for you guys, man. Number one, when you're watching porn all the time, boom, you're gonna have low energy, right? You're gonna have low energy because, when you're busting nuts all the time, you're draining those vital nutrients. You're draining that testosterone from your body, and your testosterone is what gives you energy, bro. It gives you energy. It gives you that confidence. It gives you, that feeling of, when you wake up in the morning and you just want to attack the day, right? If you don't have that, you're going to be very low energy, always tired. I know you guys can feel me, but think back to when you used to be doing that all the time, loading up the websites. Man, this AC unit just got turned on. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. I'm going to speak up a little bit. You remember when you used to bust nuts all the time, right? Very low energy. You just chill on the bed, watch Netflix, smoke weed, doing all that shit, bro. You were not attacking the day, I know that. Very low energy and just feeling, like a bum, low key. That's how I was. I was very bummy, bro. I was not doing shit with my life, so that's how I felt, man. The next one is your confidence, you guys. And then I said, no eye contact as well. Your confidence, I'm gonna have to come close to the camera. Your confidence goes down, right? Just like I said in the last one. Because you're busting nuts so often, you're losing that confidence, you're losing that testosterone, that vital spiritual mojo that we have as men, right? And you're busting off all the time. Your confidence is low, and think about back to your previous self when you guys were living like this. You had a hard time maybe with females. Going up to females, you wouldn't be able to make eye contact with them. You'd be looking down, looking over here, looking left at the ground, just looking low power level, guys. That's what happens when you're living like that. You're draining your life force. You're like, when you retain, you get very locked in. You have good eye contact. You're able to present yourself. You have good posture. You have eye contact. You can show up for life, bro. And you're confident in that. You love yourself more when you don't engage in porn and fapping all the time. It increases the way your self-love and the way that you view yourself, you guys. So that's the second thing. Third thing, you guys, weird around women. Porn turns you into a creep, you guys, straight up. Think about your old self. Think about the ways that you used to act around women. Women will come around, you're just looking down, looking at their tits, looking at their ass, checking them out. Girls are onto this shit, you guys. All these girls are very much aware of different types of men and what we do. You know what I'm saying? So they're gonna know the difference between somebody who's acting like this, doing the porn, and then somebody who is obviously focused and more respectful, treats them like a human being. You know, it's not creepy around women. Because porn, you know, it gives you that subconscious programming in your mind when you're watching those videos, you guys, because you're watching all these things go down, these weird raunchy videos and whatever the hell you watch, bro. There's all different kinds of strange videos on there nowadays. But you're gonna think that all these girls are like that, or they want to recreate it, or either going around and objectifying women as well. So you're definitely gonna be getting caught staring down at their breasts and their ass and shit like that. I got something on my shirt. So makes you a creep, you guys. When you watch porn all the time, makes you low power level, low energy, low motivation, and it turns you into a weirdo around women. You know, the energy that you're putting out is very creepy. All right. Next thing that I have is no passion for life, you guys. It's hard to be on that lifestyle, and as a daily coomer and stuff like that, you end up losing that drive that SR gives you. You know, SR will give you that tunnel vision, so where you're locked in and you start manifesting things that are very fast paced. Your old self was not doing this. You know, I remember I was doing some things, you know, I mean, I was still trying to, you know, aspire to reach my goals and stuff like that, and I had goals and accomplishments that I was achieving on a certain level, but it was very like mediocre. You know, I didn't have any big lofty goals. I didn't have any thing that I was really aspiring, you know, working on every day. It was very mediocre. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it is. As soon as you go on SR, that all changes, and you start having a lot of passion for life. You start wanting to do a lot more things. You know, maybe start a business, traveling, you know, meeting new people. Your imagination goes crazy, you guys, and it's a creative boost as well. You're going to be a lot more creative on semen retention. You're going to be able to get a lot more stuff done. All right, so you get a lot more passionate, all right, when you stop watching porn. And the last one, you guys, is living in sin, all right? The bottom line is that watching porn is a sin. Watching porn is not okay by God. Fornicating like that is not okay by God. We're not meant to be playing with ourselves like that. It's weird when you think about it. You know, you're just playing with yourself, trying to hit the dopamine receptors in a very strange way. When you could be reaching those dopamine receptors in other ways. You know, you could go out and you could go exercise, you could go have a stimulating conversation with somebody, you know, you could accomplish something. There's a lot of different things. You know, go play a sport, go do something that you like, bro. You know, there's many other dopamine options than just jacking off, right? It's very damaging to us to get into that habit to where that's our number one dopamine thing. You know, our dopamine hookup is by masturbating and watching porn, you know. There's other avenues, you guys. That's what we got to lock into, is put the porn down, put the masturbating down, lock into other areas of life, right? You can see your life improving at a very fast pace. And then another thing I said is it blocks your blessings, you guys. It blocks your blessings. Like literally, God, you're living in sin still, so God's not going to be blessing you as much as He would. You know what I'm saying? You're literally living and you're blocking all the blessings that you could be getting. And so semen retention really gets you to receive a lot more blessings. You know, the blessings come in abundance, and you know, you're able, God is pleased with you, bro. You're able to receive these blessings and actually take advantage of them, you know. You're blocking your blessings when you're watching porn, and you don't even know it. You know, a lot of people don't even realize that they're doing this. So, all right, boys, that is my video. Those are my 5 reasons why the porn lifestyle turns you into a low value, you know, man. So, cut out the porn, cut out the masturbating on a daily basis, and you're gonna really, your life's going to go through the roof. All right. So, much love, you guys. Hope you guys got something out of this, bro. Hopefully you can still hear me. That AC unit just cut on during the video. So, all right, boys. Much love, man. Appreciate all you guys, man. And comment if you want to talk to me about this. All right. God bless, guys. Have a good one.